Hey guys, Mulligan here, and welcome to part 5 of my preview of the upcoming Eternal set, the Dusk Road. We'll be talking about a new article revealing the final new mechanic in the expansion, along with some cards that were spoiled featuring the new mechanic. Since you all are just seeing this now, it will probably be mere hours until another set of cards are spoiled, if they haven't been spoiled already. As with the Omens of the Past preview videos, I will only be talking about the cards as far as their use in Constructed, unless the card is absolutely terrible in that format, in which case I will briefly talk about its potential use in draft. Let's hop in. First up is Aerial Attendant. This is a 7 power 4/3 unit requiring 2 Justice Influence to play. She has Flying, Warcry, and Bond, and Entomb, where when she dies you gain 3 armor. So before we look further into this card, we need to talk about what the new Bond mechanic does. And Bond reads as follows. When played, you may exhaust another unit of the same type to reduce this card's cost by the exhausted unit's strength. So, we did get a playable Valkyrie, but not at the cost I personally wanted. The article stated this has synergy with Valkyrie Enforcer because you can play him on turn 3 to silence something, and if he's still around on turn 4, you can exhaust him to play Aerial Attendant on turn 4 since his strength stat is 3. Funny thing is, this also has synergy with Sadistic Valkyrie as well, another 3 strength Valkyrie at 3 cost. This does make Attendant playable in my eyes, but even with Bond, I think she still faces competition from another 4-drop named Valkyrie Spireguard, who is a 6/6 if you have another Valkyrie in play. At least if you've built your deck to play Attendant on turn 4. Now, Attendant doesn't get blown out as much as Spireguard does, since she doesn't rely on other Valkyries staying alive to keep her relevant after she hits play. She just needs 1 alive to hit play sooner. Also, if you're running higher cost Valkyries, you have the potential to make big plays in the late game by playing this at a super low cost, all the way to free if you run Ikaria. Bond is an interesting mechanic to me. It reminds me of Mentor, but it just seems like Bond is outright better than Mentor, but we'll see. I'm excited about Bond because it can actually promote potential ramp strategies we don't have right now. But I also think deck builders will need to be careful of how many copies of a Bond card they want to run. It seems like if you run too many, you run the risk of your deck being clunky. The more tribal synergy you have in your deck, the more copies of Bond cards you can get away with running. At least that's my early evaluation. I've also noticed this is the second Valkyrie to grant armor in this set. It's not a new thing. We have Valkyrie Militant, who is a draft pick and nothing more, but maybe this is the beginning of a new archetype? Anyway, this card has potential to be fairly solid. I'm just not sure if it will stick around in Constructed. The next card is Zeliha the Vain, a 6 power 4/4 unit requiring 2 Shadow Influence to play. She has Deadly and Bond, and an ability where you can pay 4 to play a -2/-1 Affliction on an enemy unit and give Zeliha +2/+1. The more I look at this card, the more I want to try her out. Almost immediately, I saw the synergy Zeliha has with Mirror's Nightshade. A potential 6/5 on turn 4 is insane, and I have to assume that the Affliction is a curse card, so Nightshade gets buffed as well. Granted, I think we would need another playable 2-drop that's an unseen and has the same strength stat as Nightshade, if we want to play Zeliha on turn 3 consistently. We might not get that though. I'm just trying to temper my expectations, but it would be really nice. I say that since I don't think her double shadow requirement is going to allow her to be splashed into Huru, where most of the unseen are right now. She'll either be part of a newfound deck with unseen tribal cards, or more interestingly, Argentport. None of the 2-drop unseen Injustice get her into play on turn 3 right now, but maybe we'll get another one in the set. If nothing else, they allow her to hit play on turn 4, which isn't bad either. Depending on what we get in the rest of this expansion, Zeliha has the potential to see play over Alu. While it looks like they could be played together in Feln, again, I think we need to be careful of how many copies of a bond card we're running, since our deck can get clunky otherwise. But if the tribal support is there, I could see the two working together. Otherwise, Zeliha will probably just get played with Rendra, since Rendra allows you to play Zeliha for 1 power on turn 5. The next card is Slopesargent, a 6 power 4/4 unit requiring 2 primal influence to play. He has Bond, and when you bond Slopesargent, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. So this is an interesting card as well, thanks to Bond. I can't see Yeti tribal decks not playing Wump, and he allows you to play Slopesargent on turn 4 and cycle through your deck. Cinder Yeti also allows you to do this with 1 power left over, and even Snowcrust Yeti gets you there. As far as new cards, you can play Thudrock and Slopesargent together on turn 5, just like the Unseen with Rendra and Zeliha. I'm now wondering if other tribes are going to have that massive turn 5 spike that the Unseen and Yeti have. Champion of Fury sounds really good to bond with to get this out before turn 4, but it's such an aggressive unit that you generally don't want to exhaust it unless you can't attack with it anyway. There was a point made in the article where you could actually use Xenonobolus to abuse Bond further, and I could definitely see it in Elysian with Yeti cards. My only concern is having to discard 2 cards if you bond this. Discarding 1 isn't always trivial because you don't always have spare power sitting in your hand to pitch away. Deciding on 2 cards to pitch might be really tough. Maybe this could see play in something abusing the void like Feln. I realize that's pretty far out there because Yetis have never been known for abusing that type of interaction, but you never know. And the final card is Nova Quake Titan, a 16 power 10/11 unit requiring 4 time influence to play. It has Bond, and when you bond Nova Quake Titan, silence each enemy unit and put them into the enemy hand. Then draw a card for each of your relics. Timmy has entered the building. Everyone take notice. A board-wide bounce effect that silences everything as well is extremely powerful, particularly against slower mid-range and control decks, because they usually won't have enough power to play all their stuff again in 1 turn. Against aggro, not so much, but you're probably dead before you can even play this guy in that matchup anyway. The 10-11 stat line adds to the ridiculousness of this card. Of course, the problem is that big number in the top left corner. Costs 16 power to play. The big unit that comes up as a bond target is the recently revealed Great Kiln Titan to make this playable for 7. But another one that comes up is Sandstorm Titan, because Bond has excellent synergy with Endurance, similar to Mentor. I'm pretty sure Sandstorm Titan will be a key piece in Sentinel decks, whether they abuse Bond or not. This still ends up costing 11 though, without other buffs. Reality Warden could pair nice with this card, dropping it to 9 cost, and the effect is definitely something Combre would play. This is likely not constructed viable, but I will hold judgment until we see the rest of the cards. There will be people brewing with this day 1 though. You can bet on it. Thanks for listening to my thoughts on the spoilers from the upcoming Dusk Road set that we got on Monday. If you liked the video, feel free to hit the like button. Let me know in the comments if you have any feedback for the content and what cards are you excited for in the new set. I've got other Eternal content on this channel as well, so feel free to look around. If you don't want to miss future videos, consider subscribing to the channel. And thanks for taking time out of your day to watch this. I'll see you all soon. Take care.